This is Eldritch Buds, an actual play Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition podcast. What's up, Eldritch Buddies?
Buddy,
Buddy.
buddies,
Buddy.
Sitting at the virtual table with me today is Scott,
Sneaky, stealthy, possibly no longer homeless. Cambrio Voss, level 3 rogue.
Wills,
playing the rather clever, rather mysterious level 3 sorcerer rogue.
Speedy,
playing the big, girthy robot, the level 3 fighter bard, Chode.
and Josh.
Playing Jinxie, the level 3 Loxodon elephant man, whose brains, bronze, or wheat seeds.
And I'm your DM for tonight, Connor.
Previously on Eldritch Buds, our heroes emerge on the road to answer a mysterious note that promises to give them purpose and gold. Cambrio, Jinxie, Chode, and Zed. Together, these four heroes entered the Erasmus estate, where they were introduced to John Henry Erasmus IV, a man looking for brave individuals to help him with some tasks. After passing the test and slaying two mighty gargoyles, our heroes entered the Erasmus mansion. What will Erasmus have in store? Will our heroes be up for the challenges ahead? Let's find out.
Okay, we're going to jump right into it, guys.
Woo-hoo!
So, as John and Zed lead the way through the entrance of the large Erasmus estate, you notice that as you cross the threshold, a faint light is almost emanating from the pores of your skin itself. Chode, as you don't have pores, for a half second you notice the patchwork on your metal exoskeleton, like the places that have been used to fix injuries and stuff. Those are the things that are kind of glowing for a half second.
Shiny.
Then just as quickly as the light flashed, it disappears. John leads you through that main lobby area into the kitchen, where there is a long wooden table set up near a fireplace. An ancient-looking servant woman is preparing what looks to be tea. John sits at the table and beckons you to join him.
I'll, as I'm walking up, I'll walk by the old haggard-looking. I assume she's pretty haggard-looking, or is she just old?
Yeah. No, she's old. Like, she's old. She definitely.
Is there a difference?
Well, the difference here is it's not like that's John's mother, who's like obviously pampered and stuff. This is obviously a worker or a servant or something. Like, she's preparing tea for you guys, it looks like.
Okay, cool. I'll say, I'll be like, hey, excuse me, sweetheart. Do you have something a little stronger than tea? This robot needs a little bit extra, if you know what I'm getting at.
Sure. So she turns and she's like, "Oh, yeah, I know exactly what you mean, sweetie." And she kind of gives you a wink and takes a little flask out of her blazer. They wear blazers here, and she uncorks it, pours a little into your cup, and she's like, "That one's for you, sweetie. I'll bring it to you. I remember a pretty face."
Thanks, Toots. And then I'll go sit down.
Sure. Did the rest of you join the table, or are you guys doing anything in here?
So I'm just gonna take my tea and kind of nod politely to the serving lady. Quickly get a seat next to the robot, spin the chair around, sit on it backwards. I'm just kind of watching him drink, just again trying to figure out, like, this is again, the closest thing I've ever seen to this is just be like a suit of armor, and I'm curious to see how it just functions and like eats and drinks. So I think we saw it do the shot earlier. Now I'm curious just to see what again happens. So I'm just sitting there kind of staring at it, just being like, "Oh yeah, all right, okay."
Yeah, sure. Speedy, does your Warforged have any like taste buds? Like, would it experience taste when I describe what you're drinking, or is it just like
No, it's
no?
just
Okay.
pure.
The sustenance goes down your throat pipe, and you feel a little bit more refreshed.
Awesome.
I'm gonna
There was some nice stuff, old lady.
I'm gonna move to sit opposite.
Thank you, dear.
opposite Chode here. I want to be looking at him.
Sure. Okay. Yeah.
Do you?
You sit down and you're now staring across the table longingly into his
I
eyes.
don't know about that.
We're still psychically connected, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I'm gonna,
Yeah.
without even like looking up in my head, I'm gonna be like, "Hey, Goldilocks, is that sorcerer guy looking at me?"
I'm just gonna kind of think back again. It's like, is that me?
No, the hairy
Right.
elephant is
That me?
Goldilocks. Of course, it's you.
Me? What do you want?
Oh, sick! He already gave me a nickname, and I just look very pleased with myself for a minute. And then sorry, what was the question?
Dead.
As he ruffles his white hair.
Yeah, I'm just like fluffing my head around.
Is that guy staring at me? Weird likes.
I'm gonna try to subtly look up just to see if he's staring at him.
For
Sure.
Just-
If you want to be,
I'm gonna be honest. I don't think.
if you want to be stealth about it, you could roll a stealth check to see how.
I don't think I can
Okay,
be
yeah,
stealth
that's
about
fair.
it. To be honest, I think at this point I'm just very much. If he's staring at us, he's just very much gonna see me like make eye contact. with
I'll
him,
just
so I don't
clarify.
know
I'm
what
not
else is doing.
like crazy eyes staring. That's just
Mean mugger.
that's just where I wanted to
I'm gonna
sit
say
down.
I'm gonna
I
think
feel
back, just like
there's a lot being read into it from your guys' perspectives. But
Alright.
by all means,
just
go
gonna think
on.
about like he's pretty focused on you.
All right.
And
One of my eyes is gonna like move up and like look to see if what he's saying is true. I'll notice that you're not like staring too intently, and then I'll just move it back down. Just like,
I'm gonna sip my little
and
tea,
then
blowing up first. Just
Jinxie's just gonna go sit beside Cambrio. He thinks we had a pretty good battle together, so he's a little trusting.
Perfect. No, absolutely.
I was like, where did you? So is the elephant thing also magic, or is that just the bear was magic? Because that was
Not
crazy.
That I've learned. I'm just always elephant. Sometimes I become black bear.
Okay.
that was a pretty cool trick.
Do you remember
Football.
not being elephant, or were you just always elephant?
Always elephant.
Huh. So you're from deer then, I take it?
That is right.
Huh. This is also all just an awkward silence in reality, and then us just
Yeah.
thinking back and forth
Yeah.
to our heads.
And having said that, I guess at that point, John looks around the table after this like last 48 seconds of silence, and is like, "Right, so I guess
We're all
I'll
just
start."
kind of like
Yeah,
nodding,
sorry.
like we're like, you're like, oh, cool, yeah.
He's like, "So I suppose that I'll start then. I assume that you have many questions, but I do plead with you. Allow me to start, and if you have any queries after I'm done my little speech here, you can pepper me with questions if you'd like. Let's start with the little enchantment that you might have noticed as you pass through the doorway. Before you ask, it's just a simple abjuration ward that reveals all magical disguises. And he's doing like a jazz fingers thing in front of his face. You never can be too careful with whom you let into your home and share information with these days. And it's at that time that he beckons Mildred, the ancient serving lady, over for a refill on his tea. Getting back to the point of it all, I am an admirer of oddities, as I have mentioned to you before. You all certainly check that box from first impressions.
Oh yeah.
Put simply, I have recently realized the need for some security, some reconnaissance, and quite frankly, some... he looks a little bit uncomfortable in his chair. Some friendship. There is only the four of us that live here, and it does get a little stir crazy here sometimes. As a part of this relationship, you will have a safe haven here at the Erasmus estate. The use of my facilities as you require, food and stipend as well. I will be more than accommodating so long as my tasks and chores that I require of you are dealt with. And I must add that certainly you have artistic freedom in terms of creativity on solving the problems that I present, but solve them you must. That's essentially everything that I've got for you right now. I'll open the floor to you.
Can I roll insight just to check out
Good
this
idea.
dude's
Yeah.
Motives
character?
or-
Whether or
yeah,
not he's trying to
absolutely.
just take a bunch of people
Sure.
off the street
Yeah,
and bang them.
You did say friendship's kind of weird.
He did in his tasks. He mentioned the word relationship.
You're wondering if he's signing up for a polyamorous relationship?
That's a 15. Am I a rent boy?
With a 15, okay, so John Henry Erasmus is a weird guy. Like, he is a weird guy. But you don't get, John Wayne Gacy weirdo vibes from him. You know, you don't feel like he's setting up for a trap or, there's a long game to, he's just a weird guy, and you guys seem to, check boxes of things that he finds admirable, and he wants to keep you around for a little bit. I think that he mentioned in the last episode that this relationship is up to your choosing of distance, right, or of time, I should say. You can stick around for a week, a month, a year. It's up to you. You can leave at any time. So it's not a weird cult that you're signing up for, I guess, is my answer to your insight question.
That's good.
Okay.
I have a question.
Yes, Mr. What was it again? Chud? Mr. Chud?
It's Chode.
Oh, my
It's an O.
apologies. Yes,
So-
I do sincerely apologize. Yes,
Mr.
yes.
John Henry Erectus.
John
I do-
Elevated. John Henry
I-
Elevated. That's right.
I see the
Goldilocks.
error of my ways. Mr. Chode, I do apologize.
You said there's 4 people here that you live with?
Yeah, that's correct. Yes, so you've only met Mildred here. She's been on our staff for Mildred. How long has it been? And you can see as everybody looks at her, she's taking a sip from the flask. What? Four generations. And he's
like
like,
this
yes,
lady.
yes,
She's lived here for 4 generations.
yes. I have.
What
She's
is she?
wow. What is in that
200.
flask?
Can I get
So
some
she's
more of
old.
that?
And then John.
She's seen 4 generations of Erasmuses come and go. Mildred, the
She
constant,
started
is what they
working there
call
when
her.
she was 4, and then
She was born into servitude.
yeah.
She only ages on
Is
leap
she,
years.
is she like a dragon born or like?
She's a human. I did my math wrong.
Okay.
So. But now it's 4 generations.
She's
So
been
that's
here for 400 years.
The Erasmuses are notoriously
Yeah.
short-lived.
That's the only. Yeah.
They die at their
Mortality.
They all
Yeah.
get gout at 5.
She's 38. Mildred's 38.
Yeah, so John finishes and says, yes, so you've met Mildred here. Obviously, the other 2 aren't here. My daughter Emily is up doing her studies or perhaps sleeping. It is getting rather late. And Korg is somewhere. He's usually out in the shed. He's our gardener.
You said
Yeah,
4.
so it's John,
And then
Mildred,
the 3.
Korg.
Oh,
and
I thought.
Emily.
Sorry, I thought it was 4 lived with
Yeah.
John. Sorry,
That's
John.
okay. I like you. It's fine, Mr. Ghost Knife Killer. He's trying to do something.
Cool.
He's trying to be a friend.
I do a little finger gun, I do a little. It goes on way too long of me doing the pretend spin of like it's Tombstone, and then I just holster it.
Great, love it.
I
Yeah.
has
So
another
I mean,
question.
yeah, guys, the floor is yours.
You said friendships. What does that means? Like, are we
Oh,
gonna be like
nothing
partners
formal,
in
no.
this? Are you gonna
No.
be like the?
Nothing formal. Just to have more smiling faces around the dinner table will be just a nice break. Having laughter in the hallways and someone to tell my jokes and my stories to at the end of the day. It's just something that a full house has always warmed old Johnny's heart here, and it's something that has been sadly lacking for many years.
Oh, as long as you keep paying, I'll stick around.
Absolutely, and And I should actually say on that note that the stipend itself, the pay, it's not fixed. It is not that I will pay you, 100 gold per week. It is on completion of missions and chores and tasks. I hope you understand. But the room and
Like an
board
allowance.
is as long as you need. Yes.
You're right.
Excellent.
Rich dad.
Okay. Easy. I was just gonna be Cambria took a little bit of whacking. What time of day was it again at this point?
The sun was setting during your gargoyle fight, and let's say it's kind of in the next 30 minutes after that. So maybe 7:30.
So I'm just gonna ask John. It's like, is there anywhere a man could fill a stomach around here?
Well, yes, right here actually. I planned to feed you as we eat. How or feed you as we speak. How silly of me. And he kind of claps his hand, and you can see that a bunch of trays are kind of not magically, like it's not like he clapped his hands and poof, you're there, but he kind of claps his hands, and you realize, oh my goodness, like you're just like, oh yeah, there's food over there. That's kind of weird that we didn't see that on the way in. And Mildred starts bringing you over trays of food, and it's a lot of fruits, vegetables, very like natural. Like the trays themselves look really good, and you can surmise that this is taken from the surrounding fields and woods because there is tons of acreage on the Erasmus estate and lots of things are growing here. So you can tell that this is like mainly locally sourced. Not a ton of meat, and there are some breads and everything as well.
Oh, a vegetarian dish. How thoughtful. And then right away, Jinxie's just going to start diving into the veggies.
Oh,
It's
absolutely,
Big
yeah.
elephant hasn't eaten in like 2 hours. It's starving.
A
Eat those
dangerous
cows.
precedent to set.
I was gonna say,
To
using
just
your
set your
trunk.
starvation at 2 hours.
Just have you ate with
Two
the last
rations
2
every
hours?
2 hours.
Yeah, you gotta wake up every 2 hours during a long rest, you idiot.
Fuck.
Cambria was just stuffing his face with one hand, and the other hand is just shoving like rolls into his pockets.
Oh, sure. Roll me a sleight of hand to see how successful you are at that.
That'd be a 17.
Nice.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm going to say that you can take kind of up to 12 rolls if you want.
I will take 12. Just and it's like all my
Perfect.
pockets. So like hip, inside the jacket. If someone looks close, I look very lumpy, but
He's just big boned.
just playing it off.
Just pointy boned.
Just weird boned.
So yeah, we don't have to roleplay this all, but while you guys sit and eat your food, John does explain to you a little bit about what he does for, his job. He explains to you that he is a businessman who owns a very successful perfume and cologne business in Titlebrook. He takes the flowers, the honeycomb, the fruits, the vegetables, kind of any well-smelling natural beauty that can be found on this acreage, and ships it down a few miles to his Beaumont warehouse that's closer to the actual city proper, Beaumont. Typically it takes, an hour and a half by foot to get down there. Once it gets to the warehouse, that's kind of where it is turned into and bottled, the perfume and the colognes.
How is it shipped?
Just like carts. So when you first arrived...
So, but like by land?
Yes.
Okay.
When you first arrived at the Erasmus estate and you saw those tire marks and everything and the wheel marks in the courtyard, that is what that is from. Let's see here. Yeah.
They bottle it.
He
into
does.
perfume.
He also adds that the high society of Capelon, which to the layman is the capital of Titlebrook province, and Ardoth, the capital city of the entire country of Kumdor, are some of his best customers. In fact, he mentions that Rosemary Tuliptoe herself has called the Erasmus Sense the finest in all of Kumdor.
Sorry, Rosemary who?
Rosemary Tuliptoe, and if any of you want to roll a history
I was just
check,
like, give me a roll on that. Yes, sir.
Sure.
I'm good.
10?
Oh,
Just,
dirty
15
20.
for the kid here.
Josh,
Oh, sorry, I got 10.
I guess.
And Speedy?
It's not going to be. It's not.
Oh,
it's not
yeah,
going
it's
to go
fine.
well.
It-
but I'll roll just in case.
Yeah, 15 or higher is the DC, so I'll just explain to Wilson Scott.
Yeah, 10.
Rosemary Tulip Toe, as you know, is the provincial leader of Titlebrook. She is a halfling that lives in Capelon. So she is not the...
I share that
Yeah,
mentally
sure.
with my two linked boys.
Yeah, so in terms of like a little bit of
Can you spell the city again? Like Capelon?
Kapellon.
Thank you.
And with a 17, I mean, that's enough to know that the provincial government, how it works, is that King Thane of the city of Ardoth has different vassals essentially for each province. And Rosemary Tulip Toe is the one for Titlebrook.
All right, so Zed is going to kind of turn and address John. He's going to reach his hand out towards the bread basket, kind of feel around to notice that it's empty. Like, curious, I saw a whole lot of buns a few minutes ago. I thought I'd be able to pace myself and grab one in a second, but I guess not. He kind of thinks internally. Assumes it was probably the Loxodon that just shoveled them down, but doesn't really care either way. John, work. You got something lined up for everyone here? Individual tasks? What do you have
you see, Zed,
on the go?
Yes, that's a wonderful question. I think the first and perhaps all of the tasks would be better suited if you worked as a crew. Now, that's just my opinion. Certainly, you can handle these tasks if you think by yourself, but I certainly would not recommend many of them. I mentioned about my warehouse that's a few miles closer to Beaumont from here. The last few days, a few employees of mine have mentioned a terrible, awful smell coming from the woods to the west of the main road. I haven't traveled to town in about a week or so I can't vouch for it. But if there is one thing that I cannot stand for on the Erasmus estate, it is the sense of any bad scent. The only thing that's out there is one of the old dwarven mines before they drained it clean of resources. It may be sulfuric gas breaching the surface. I know that's rumored to have happened over time at other mines. But if you could maybe just make your way over, meander, it doesn't have to be now, you can wait till tomorrow. Check it out, report back to me, and if it's possible to eliminate the source of the stench or the odor or reverse it somehow. That would be a wonderful task to be completed.
How much?
How much indeed? Well, it depends what the source is, I suppose. But for this, I really should ask, actually. Shall I be paying you as a crew, or shall I be paying you individually?
I've just leaned back out of the conversation. I've taken the empty bread basket, and I'm kind of trying to subtly gesture to Mildred that, like, a little round for the table here.
Sure, I'm gonna see with a perception check, because she's blind as fuck, to see if she sees that.
She is a 400-year-old woman, so...
Those old cataracts.
Yeah. Oh, wow. So her natural 20 blind eyes see that hand gesture.
She's
Scott.
generations of hospitality.
That's right. And she just...
She has true sight for, like, her guest needs.
Yeah, this is what it is. She doesn't even see your hand raise. She just did the Sherlock Holmesian math and looked at all of you and calculated the time that first bread bowl would be empty. And as you lift your hand... She must have calculated something, Scott, because it's incredible. There's a fresh roll of honey buns in front of you within half of a second of raising that hand.
Well, thank you. I'm just going to turn back around and just kind of plunk it down on the table and just take easily, that's like two big just rolls right off the top.
Perfect.
I'm going to slide that basket as I see it dropped on the table. I'm going to pull it over close to me. I'm a little upset I didn't get any rolls out of the last basket. and these honey ones are my favorite.
Big bread guy.
John, we only met obviously a couple hours ago. if
No,
that.
of course.
And,
It's silly of
I
me to assume.
Think individual would probably be the best while we kind of gauge each other's
Yes, no, of course. How silly of me.
skill sets.
Yes, no, of course. Well, for this, as it is really nothing more than a mop-up job, cleaning some sulfuric acid out of the woods, 25 gold each, just for starters, and we'll see for future tasks how much you will be paid. Now, before, and I see that look on your face, Mr. Robot, before you judge me, I should mention, and I forgot to before, that you do have full access to my facilities on this estate. Each of you will be given your own room, but I also have some other hidden gems on the property that you can use. So consider that part of your payment as well.
Oh, I'm not disputing the price. That makes sense for cleaning up a shitty smell. But what if it's not just sulfuric? Is it like it get increased per size of beast slain?
I highly, highly doubt that you'll have to slay any beasts. There hasn't been any beasts on this side of Ardoth in 10 years. I wouldn't worry too much.
You say
about
that.
it.
What do you mean beasts?
I was gonna say there's literally a beast sitting at this table.
That is.
Well, I'm no beast.
Cambrio flexes.
I think you need to cool it on the buns there. They're going straight to your thighs.
The pockets are just full of bread.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Put it this way. If you do happen into any beast or ghoul or something, sure, I can increase it to the 35 gold each. But I, again, highly, highly doubt that would be preposterous that anything would dare venture anywhere near the Erasmus estate.
Insight check.
Sure. Go ahead.
I'm less like doubting his insight, but more like he's just staking his rep. On
7.
like he's telling me there's nothing, so
Yeah.
I'm gonna believe him.
Yeah.
But
It's hard to say, Spee. This either is the confidence of a man who knows what he is talking about, or the overconfidence of a fool who has no idea what he's talking about. It's really hard to figure out which of the two.
I'm gonna dial back a few seconds. Actually, I'm gonna roll an insight check on that comment made by Speedy a few moments ago about we have a beast at the table. I want to get a sense how he feels about the people of Deer, knowing he's likely a robot that fought in the war.
Very nice.
All right.
And good
how long ago was
Go
said
for it.
war?
Said war. You know what? Give me a history check, and I will tell you everybody can. I will give you a little piece of my lore pie based on the.
Well, I'm
roll.
just wondering if my guy would have if it's like 30 years ago, I wouldn't have been around for it. I got 15.
I got a 6.
13.
I'm smart.
Okay, yeah, 15 is the highest roll. Sure. So Cambrio, that the year is 12 AE, and the AE stands for after expansion, which is the Kumdorian way of saying we now have all the provinces of this continent under one umbrella. So they actually
And
based
Deer was the last one.
Deer was the last one amalgamated into Kumdor. So it was 12 years ago that the war ended, but I can't give you too much more at the 15, but the lines are blurry because there's still certainly some thick tension between the people of Deer and the government currently.
Dang. All right, so I'm kind of awkwardly in a mental room with two people who have now kind of just realized at this point are like, oh, whoops. Hey, so you guys got any, you guys been around? Or you look like a music bot, so I assume you're just a musician, and probably that's all you've done. So we guys just cool little work together?
I have killed many of peoples.
Peoples, though.
Or
Keyword,
beasts.
So I am rolling that insight from before.
Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
That's a 21.
Speedy, was it racist?
Not more than like your uncle is at like a birthday party.
So very.
That's a subjective answer.
Yeah, I got a lot
No,
of
it's
uncles.
I have nothing against
from
them,
rural
but
Canada.
like it's like you know when like you grow up in like a time like how like people in the 50s and 60s are like once they're getting like older they like forget that it's not cool to still call them those people.
Yeah.
Well, it'd also be like it's on
Like
like
it's something like that.
in real
Cool.
life. It's like people like learn their prejudices. Birds would Speedies would have been like literally downloaded into them as like
Yeah.
a creation.
Yeah,
like,
uploaded.
yeah.
Embedded in you.
Yeah.
I will say I don't mean beasts in either way at this point.
Cool.
Okay.
It's just
Just
call
how he
them
sees 'em.
beasts because,
Yeah, I'm just trying to.
that's-
Basically, I just want to.
No one's ever told me not to call them a
A
beast.
sense of that tension.
So I
Can
like-
I get a? Can I roll an insight check on Josh to see just how he's reacting to this
Yeah,
robot?
sure, absolutely.
Yeah.
He did say, "What do you mean, beast?" or something like that. So
13.
Josh, take it away. What does he see with a 13?
So Jinxie kind of recoils back and is kind of looking at him across the table. Again, robot machine. Now that I've heard his name Chode, would I have ever previously heard that? Can I make a history check?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, if that's
Is that like a model?
14.
Are two very different
yeah,
responses.
you're fairly certain that Chode. Yeah, you've never seen or heard of a Chode before. At least when it comes to Warforged.
Okay,
And-
I've never seen that Chode before.
Yeah, and what you do know about Warforged in general is that there are no set. How do I want to word this? There's no like line of Warforged, so there's not like the Model 1 and there's thousands of those. It's not like there's the Model 5 and there's hundreds of those. Each Warforged is custom. Each Warforged is different, and you're typically able to tell what their name is or what their code is. Usually somewhere on their body, it's painted or seared somewhere. So I don't know, Chode, if you have like CHODE on you somewhere, but that's kind of like the tag. If you were to like, tear him apart, you would see his parts as, this is Chode's shoulder and shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah, when I was describing him, he's a bunch of engravements in Dwarvish that kind of look like tattoos. So one of them would say Chode, or like have the initials of Chode, but in Dwarvish.
Mm-hmm.
It's like when a Frappo gets a tattoo in like Chinese though, and you think it says Chode and it says like small sink.
It just means hairy.
Just says Chode on the bottom of his foot, just a la Toy Story.
Like
Toy Story.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I like to think that, again, because a lot of the last conversation has been happening either through minds or it's just been like people staring intently like Larry David at each other, like trying to feel the room.
Gain insight from a conversation.
So it's just
Yeah.
been silent again for another minute, and John's like, okay, so the amenities, no questions about the amenities. Okay,
Wait. Tell us about the amenities.
you're too kind.
Do
It's
I
like-
have?
Do you what?
Is there a place to look after our gear or anything like that? You already said we got rooms, so I'm counting on that.
So John says, the facilities and amenities that I will provide are simple, really, nothing too extravagant. I have a
Lap pool?
training ground in the back. It has a few places to spar and to shoot arrows at dummies. A small supply room that has a few simple weapons and ammunition. But to be frank with you, I haven't been in a violent fight in decades now, so I wouldn't know how to best properly provide what you need.
So there's not someone here for that.
Correct,
Be a town
yeah.
thing.
Yes, but also in accordance with my last statement, there are multiple rooms that sit empty and idle in my estate. And if you would like to spend some time and some investment into building something that you want, I am happy to accommodate. Assuming the idea isn't too outlandish. And yes, to answer your question, we do actually have a few small vaults on the premises that if you ever need to store anything, you can absolutely do that.
Let's make a bank.
All right, so I'm just gonna give him another little look. So look, I think we're all in agreement that we're gonna help you with this initial task. You said town is how far? An hour by cart or by foot?
Well, it really depends on how fast you walk. Myself and Mildred might make it there in 3 hours if you were to clock us. And he's, like a bad dad joke, just laughing at his own thing.
Cambrio just slaps
I
his
get
knee.
it, because you're
No
old
laughter,
and
just
fat.
slaps his knee.
And it's just a thud because it's all bread.
It's no
clap
clap
to it.
It's
It's
just like
just
it's
a
like you hit a bunch of
silent-
hot dogs. Just like a bunch of
Yeah.
air gets pushed out.
Slapping an airbag.
Yeah, just slapping a sponge.
Yeah. But yeah, no, he explains that it's about 3 or 4 miles to the south. So nothing crazy, probably about an hour or so. But it wasn't in Beaumont that the smell was discovered. It was on the road between the estate and Beaumont, somewhere in the western woods. Something is, there's like a rotting smell in the air.
Right. I'm gonna mind link to like I'm a little winded after that last fight, but if you guys want to go tonight, just give me a couple minutes and I think we can get rested up to go. Then I'm just gonna look at Zed and say like, do you verbally do you think we should be going tonight? Do you think we should be going in the morning?
No, definitely the morning. I think that's probably the call. I don't know what advantage we'd have heading out in the dark, heading out. I don't think any of
Get
you
this done with.
are. You guys familiar
You
with
see to go open
the
a
area at
window?
all? Any
Are
of you?
No, are you?
Not really.
Never been this far.
I've been through. A little familiar. Not an expert.
Okay. How familiar is familiar?
I'm a little familiar. I've been through. Not an expert.
So, do you know where the woods to the west that he's talking about is? Or
Yeah,
are we
I
still
believe.
asking someone
I
else
believe
take us
to
there?
quote John, the main road. It's just west of there. I'm a little familiar. I'm not an expert.
I think to the other two, this is why he's not in the mind chat.
With the mind link, can I talk to you guys, or is it only from?
We're essentially in like a
Cambrio.
group call.
Hold on.
Okay.
No, Jinxie, roll me an intelligence check to see if you can figure out if you can speak or not.
He's been on mute this whole time
Come on,
basically because he
give
just
me a
assumes as he can
5.
talk.
I want to hear something.
15.
A 15, you're pretty sure that if you think they can hear it, but you haven't tested it yet.
Okay. So, Jinxie's gonna go. You guys sleeping? I will stay guard.
I don't need to sleep, so if you need to sleep, go for it.
Robot man, we will chat. We will
Aye.
chat.
That
I
works
feel
for
very
me.
much out of place here as someone who is not on either side in that conflict. It's just kind of like, ooh.
You're just the mediator in this mind SN chat.
Not even the mediator. I'm just stuck in an elevator with these two people. Just trying to make myself very small.
You won't be able to sleep.
Zed's.
I'll look,
Sorry. Zed's
Go for it,
Zed's just gonna stand up, kind of slide his chair back. Anyway, Cambrio, is it?
Cambrio.
Cambrio. Apologies. I'm just getting a little tired, so I'm gonna call it. John, thank you for the hospitality. Apologies. I'll be a little cheerier in the morning, and then I'm going to head out.
Okay.
As you leave the room, I'm gonna go. Where are you going?
Just a big sigh. And I'm just gonna keep walking.
I'm gonna look at John and just be like, is that the right way? If we're looking for beds, like,
Yeah. In fact, it is. If you would like to retire to your rooms, I can show you where you are staying. There is a wing on the eastern side of the estate which belongs to you, the general you, and not you, Cambrio.
How did he know which ways to go?
that's what I'm thinking in the mind chat, is how familiar is familiar?
Familiar.
I'm gonna
I
toddle
never
off
forget.
that way.
Before Zed leaves, he'll be like, "Hey, you seem to be knowing the area. What time should we leave tomorrow to go investigate?"
Unless any of you really need your beauty sleep, I'd say an hour after breakfast at first light.
Sounds good.
Be there. All right.
Here.
just gonna follow.
Sure.
Zed
So,
to the rooms, I guess. Are
okay,
they in
yeah.
the same? Is it like room, or is it just like this is the east wing and there are rooms about?
Yeah, so how it works is, well, yeah, John's going to get up from the table and say, well, allow me to give you a little tour. And he gets up and he kind of walks the same direction that Zed went. And there's a small stairway up. And there is kind of 4 rooms on one side of the hallway, 4 rooms on the other side of the hallway. And he explains, this is where I foresee you sleeping, and if you have any modifications that you would like to make to any of the other empty rooms in this hallway, feel free to give me a suggestion on what you'd like to see.
Any of them have a window?
All of them have a window.
I claim the first one and I just immediately punch out the window.
Like you're punching through the glass?
Yeah, like I'm making like an exit, like an escape hatch, just like that window's gone.
Okay, and John from
Didn't check if it could open.
Yeah, John from the hallway's like, actually, that it does open. Okay,
I like it better this way.
Fine.
All right, safer.
He's like, yes, I like.
I then wheeled open the broken frame just to let the air in.
Did you just roll down my D&D window like it was a 1998 Honda Civic?
I went like that to winch it open. Because it's a standard modern window, I assume.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, and the
Can it go down, though? Can it retract into the stone?
I will say that your room has a Honda Civic window, and the rest of them
Sweet.
are normal slideys.
Oh, man. This guy got the fun room.
He got the upgrades.
And John kind of mutters under his breath, like, I just had that window customized, and he punches through it. What a guy. And he does mention one last thing, Korg's room is also in this hallway, so just be mindful. It's the last one on the right there. He's a morning person. I really wouldn't be interfering with him at night. He might get cranky.
What's a cog?
Korg, he's our gardener.
Whoa,
he's been with us
Korg.
years and years. Lovely fellow.
What is a Korg?
He's a gardener.
I would like to know this.
He takes care of the plants in the mine chat.
But what is he? Is he...
You can't just ask what someone is.
I wants to know.
God,
The cool
so
name like
old-fashioned.
Korg, you gotta know what you are.
When were you made? Like, ugh.
Don't worry about it.
John uncomfortably looks. He's a half orc, but I don't see what race has to do with anything.
Oh, very
So that if
dependable.
I see ones, I don't punch it if it's
Yes, of course, yes. And then he he puts his finger up and he like boops your mohawk at the top. He tries to reach it just to see if it's sharp. And he's like, "Sorry, I had to know."
How tall is this guy?
That's why I said tries.
Okay.
He makes it like
My head, if he like tries to do it, my head's gonna just turn and be like, don't touch the merchandise.
Oh, I apologize.
It's
Yes.
for sale.
Anyway, and then at that time, you actually kind of see John go, like turn his head, like as if he's double taking somewhere, and he's like, "I've got to run, gentlemen. Please make sure that you say your goodbyes before you head off tomorrow. I will make sure that Mildred has breakfast ready, post haste, as soon as the sun is up. Have a wonderful evening."
Can we pick up what he's getting distracted by?
Yeah, you can try and roll a perception or investigation check.
Would it rely on my smell at all?
It certainly would not.
20, nat 20.
Natural 20.
Yeah.
Hi, nice.
Very nice. Yeah, so this is going to be a little bit of a salty answer here. You don't know for sure, Josh, because it is impossible for you to have known this. But it looks like he heard something. It's the same exact action as if somebody had like called his name or something. He was like, "Huh?" He did that, but there wasn't any sound. And then he leaves the hallway.
And like we wouldn't have heard anything.
You
like obviously
100% would not have heard anything.
Interesting. Before he leaves, because I assume it's not like late, right?
8
It's
o'clock,
like probably
yeah.
like 7.
Yeah.
Before you go, where's this training areas that you said you had?
Exactly opposite where you fought the gargoyles. If you just go into the backyard, there's a small, well, I shouldn't say small, it's a medium-sized pen, and there's some dummies and weapon racks, and you'll see it when you get there.
Very cool. Thank you.
Well, I
Does he
bid
take
you all
off after
adieu.
that?
Yeah, he takes off.
I give him a little curtsy and a little kind of bow.
Bye.
Curtsy
and
and
a
a
bow?
formal.
Curtsy and a bow. And then
Wow.
kind of slyly look at so as soon as he just takes off.
Yeah.
Alright. The language of a short rest is just you don't necessarily have to be resting for it, right? It's just kind of
Mhm.
not.
You can
Do
sit
we
around and
wanna
chat.
do
You just
that?
have to not be doing anything strenuous, essentially.
I'm gonna skulk around the mansion.
I'll say I'll let you like stay up with your friends and chat, but if you're like actively searching and investigating, that would interfere with your
I'm
short rest.
skulking. I am casing the joint
Sure.
immediately.
Okay. Where would you like to go?
I'm heading to the training room.
Sure.
I want to just basically go look for. So first, Zach's going to training room. I'm gonna go look. He said there was hidden gems, so I'm just gonna kind of go to the other wing.
Mhm.
And just see if I can find any more. There's like empty rooms or anything that he was saying, or if there's anything interesting, anything fancy.
So you're going to the other wing. So yeah, for layout purposes, just so that our listeners at home can picture this, the estate itself is a large mansion with the main lobby in the front, like the kind of main foyer area. Directly through is the kitchen, and then if you were to keep going that direction, you would exit the back doors and end up in the training grounds. And then from the lobby, the main lobby, there is a staircase going up to the right where John took you, a staircase going up to the left, and then it looks like there are a few cellar doors going down as well.
I'm gonna skulk around those cellars.
Okay, sure. So you make your way down. I will say roll me a general stealth check to see how quietly you're doing this.
It's only a 10.
Okay. You
It's very close to a nat 20.
you think that you're being pretty stealthy, like as stealthy as you can be, but this is an old estate, so every kind of sixth step you take, like a big creak. So it's hard to be as stealthy as you'd like, but you're moving fairly silently.
I'm being very quiet. Okay. So I'm just creeping around then.
Sure. Where specifically are you going? You're going to the cellars, you say?
So I would like to investigate those cellar doors.
Sure. Yeah. So there's two of them. Kind of like one is, like Harry Potter or cupboard under the stairs. Like there's one kind of under each stairway. Do you
Do
have
either
a
appear to be
preference?
locked?
Neither appear
The
to be
left
locked.
one.
Okay.
I'm gonna open the left one.
So under the stairs where you did not go.
Yes.
Okay. So you open it up, and yet you see a small spiral staircase that goes down about 12 feet or so. I say spiral staircase. Picture like a metal sewage spiral staircase. Like it's not fancy, and
It's functional.
yeah, it leads you to a cold, wet, dungy, like musty wine cellar. It looks like, and there's just a ton of
Okay.
not a ton, but there are call it 15 big whiskey casks and wine barrels and things of that sort.
Anything small?
There's a few
I got it. I already got it. I'm just gonna take up my glass that I stole earlier,
Mhm.
and I'm just gonna go over one of the casks. I'm just gonna fill one glass and then just tap it back up.
Sure. Okay.
Just gonna
So-
enjoy that in the basement.
Okay, yeah, so a rich, dark brown liquid empties out into your cup, and you take a swig?
Yeah.
Perfect. It's strange. It is certainly like a whiskey or a rye. It has that bite to the back of it. But instead of a lingering, like you need to have a chase or you need to suck on a lemon or something, like it finishes with a really nice, flowery, natural texture. So it hits hard, but then it melts kind of into this, oh, that's really nice.
I'm gonna top it off a little back up, and then just kind of meander back on upstairs and sort of just cruise around, looking around the mansion.
Sure. So what I will say is I'm going to go back to the rest of the crew, and then we'll come back
So
to
I
you
was
in just a
figuring
second.
you'd do.
So
I was hoping
the
you'd do at
three
some
of
point.
you, what are we doing? Are we going to sleep? Are we talking?
I think Speedy said he's going out to the training grounds.
Yeah, I was headed to the training grounds.
Okay.
Jinxie isn't going to go to sleep. He's just going to go start like tending to the gardens outside and stuff, and just kind of
Okay.
starting to play around there.
Appreciating nature. Is there anything specifically
Yeah.
that
Are
you'd
you
like to
gonna
do?
be-
Not just mainly like upkeep it and make sure it looks nice and healthy and help it grow.
Sure. Okay, that's
You know.
awesome. If you want to roll me a nature check
Okay.
or survival, whichever of the two you'd like.
16.
16, perfect.
It's a
So,
stealth check?
You rolled the stealth.
Oh.
Oh, did I? Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Oh, they're both +2, but
yeah,
Oh,
well, then we can
okay.
take the 16. That's fine.
okay.
Yeah, so with the 16, I mean, you can tell me what specifically you're doing, but yeah, like as you're walking through the gardens, and there are thousands of flowers on this property. Like the more that you look at this, it's like, oh my god, like it's all you can see essentially. So you take the next 20 to 30 minutes walking through the garden, getting a nice sense of what this place looks like and what kind of flowers are grown and what plants are available, and you're kind of picking weeds out as you see them, or other things like that. You're being respectful and nothing's being trampled underneath your large Loxodon feet. No, it's very nice and peaceful out here.
I would ask Mr. DM here then, as he's doing that, what's he? Is he? I mean, they have a gardener on site. I'm curious. Is there a lot of weeds he's pulling out? How good is Korg at his gardening duties?
Yeah,
this is a true test.
Yeah, no, for sure.
That's a great point.
So here's the moral quandary here. Everything looks really good, but it's not perfect. So if we were to do a grading scale here, it's like an 8.5. Everything looks really, really, really nice. But there is one gardener for the 6,000 plants that are here, right? Like it's huge.
Yeah.
So like he leaves enough work so that he's not fired, type of thing. Like he leaves enough where it's like, well, I need to go to work tomorrow and pull those weeds. But it's not like you're on your hands and knees in one garden bed for an hour. Like there's very limited weeds and stuff. But as a druid who's lived outside most of their life, you're really good at this.
Can I then? Yeah, I just want to assess if I find rose petals or something. Can I just assess the quality of them?
Yeah, sure. If you want to roll me a nature check, then.
Yeah, nature. Okay, 8.
Yeah, they are rose petals.
Okay. Basically, yeah, Jinxie for the rest of the night just gonna, tend to the gardens and help with pulling weeds and just trying to,
sure,
bump it up to a 9 kind of
perfect.
thing.
Okay, so I will. Yes, we can do that. Are you then foregoing your long rest?
Yeah.
Okay, you will have 1 point of exhaustion tomorrow if that's the case.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
So if you want, roll me a nature or a survival check, just like for the rest of the night to see how much added value. You can do this with advantage since you're foregoing your long rest.
19.
Perfect. Yeah. So
Nice.
I would say over the next
Very
kind of
nice.
6 to 8 hours as you're working through this, it's hard because actually, do you have dark vision?
I believe I do, but of course everyone says that.
I believe you don't, but let's double check.
I think just Wills has dark vision.
Or maybe I'm thinking of
Gina.
Your old characters.
no.
Yeah.
That could be it. Okay, I don't think I do.
Okay,
Sorry.
that's okay. It's hard, as the pitch black of 3 a.m. rolls around. Like it's hard to see what you're doing. But yeah, you've bumped this certainly from like an 8.5 to let's call it a 9.5. Like Korg is going to be happy when he wakes up in the morning,
Nice.
but he's also going to be like, "What the fuck?" So, okay, Zed, what's happening upstairs in your room?
So I would have got up kind of a bit ahead of the group. Set my things.
Sorry, have you? This is post sleep, or are we do? I assume we were also doing pre sleep.
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Sorry.
Yeah. So sorry. When I say I got up, I mean I led up to the rooms. I would have got there first.
Correct. Yes.
So I would have got in, kind of set my things down into my room. Quick change of attire into a more casual evening robe, if you will. Not like
I will.
Nothing like a bedtime like pajama from the
You're not in your like
1930s.
Scrooge pajamas,
Exactly.
like holding a candle.
Exactly
in front of you?
what I was thinking of. Not quite that, but just something a little more casual, a little more comfortable.
Sure.
No more donning of the studded leather. And potentially, I'm not sure how long their conversation was getting rooms settled in the hallway there, but they would have seen me then leaving, potentially. Leaving my room and heading towards a small study.
Sure.
To open myself a nice book.
Sure. So I will say this is our first This is our first. Hey, everybody at the table. Your characters don't know this. So Zed,
Cool.
you've been here for the last couple of weeks.
Yeah.
And
Weeks,
he
months,
has
I thought?
opened weeks, months. Yeah, I
Yeah.
call it 3 months.
Cool.
Months.
What?
You have known
Wow.
that the East Wing is yours. Like, it's any room on this side of the house you can, completely use. And one of those empty rooms that he mentioned, one of these 8 in this hallway, you have been using as kind of a study room, personal library type of thing. So I will say that that is set. You do know that he has asked, but not told, you to kind of leave him and Emily on the west side, especially after business hours. Like, he wants to remain as professional relationship type of thing. But yeah, you have free reign of the estate, and you've been using one of the empty Eastern Wing rooms for that purpose. So I would say, if you'd like, you can already be in that room by the time they come up so that they don't see you in there.
Sure. So I would have got up there. I would have probably closed the door behind me. There'd be a light in the room. So unless John's doors are, to the floor with a draft guard, I mean, it'd be visible that there's light on in the room. I'm gonna... How do we figure out how many books I have accrued here on what topics? That's what I want to know.
Why don't we roll a general intelligence check, and then based on that number, I'll have you roll a die.
12 plus... Oh, plus my intelligence, 2 would be 14.
14. Roll me a d6. That's how many books you have, and then you can tell me the topics generally.
3.
You have 3 books. What are the topics on?
The first topic is on the war.
Sure. Specifically the Deer versus Kumdor war?
Yeah, I would say the most recent. Yeah.
Okay.
Second book would be on Tidalbrook. History of Tidalbrook, call it.
Sure.
Some general history, kind of the democratic or not processes in Tidalbrook, how it's run, what the major cities are, who assigns those major players, blah blah blah. And the third book would be The Weather
by George Orwell.
An almanac.
Cool. Yeah. A Goblin's Almanac. Okay, sure. So how's this for
Underdark.
How's this for a compromise? Normally, when you have a book, you have to spend X amount of hours researching to find the history here.
Yeah.
I understand that you've been here for 3 months, but I'm not going to say, every book inside and out here. So
That's
which of those 3 would you have been reading so that I can tell you about right now without a rule?
Been alone for 3 months and he hasn't finished 3 books.
He's been doing
busy,
shit.
man.
You're not here.
So
I don't know
would have
this.
been reading about Tidalbrook the most. My Tidalbrook.
Sure.
book.
Okay.
History of.
So how's this? I will make sure to send you a full map of Tidalbrook, more than what you, I think, have been given.
Yeah.
I would say that you know a little bit about the Rosemary, Tulip Toe, and Capelon. In general, I mean, you can ask me questions if you have any in general, but you were wanting to know about the government. You know that King Thane appoints provincial leaders. There is no election. There is no voting process. He appoints those in charge, and there is no fixed term. Rosemary has been in charge since the expansion happened, so for the past 12 years at least. And yeah, Tidalbrook in general, it itself, though it was involved in disputes that Kundar kind of brought into it, it is known as the very peaceful province. It was founded by humans and halflings, so it's trade heavy. It's a fun, like, kind of picture the Shire if humans lived there.
Mhm.
Not a ton of violence, not a ton of big monsters that attack. Like, this is a
Like
peaceful
green.
ass. Yeah, this is a wonderful place, and it seems as though only external factors are the things that ever bring negativities to Tidalbrook. Like, it
Mhm.
itself is an awesome place, and maybe that's the author being biased, but that's the general sense that you get from this book.
Yeah.
Sounds super
Um,
xenophobic.
Yeah, Speedy, let's go
History
down
is
to you.
written by the
What have
victors.
you been doing in this training ground, buddy?
Just been doing a heavy workout, like Captain America in at the beginning of like the Avengers when he's in like the boxing ring, and
Yeah, cool.
so I'm going up to like the dummies and like practicing like hand-to-hand combat using my sword and my other weapons to just like make sure I'm like sharp and ready to go just in case shit hits the fan for tomorrow. And so I'll do that for like an hour, and then I'll head up to
Cool.
one of the rooms.
So what we'll do, and this is for you guys at the table and for people listening at home, I am going to do kind of a hybrid downtime with D&D. So the rule with D&D is, in between missions, call it 2 weeks. Hey, what have you guys been doing the last 2 weeks? Oh, I spent my time working out, or I spent my time researching the history of Tidalbrook, or whatever it is. So I will mark off, Speedy, that you have kind of one training hour, and then I have certain levels. Like, after X amount of hours, you're going to gain this. After X amount of hours past that, you're going to gain this. So I'm going to mark off that you have 1 hour towards that. If you would like, roll me an athletics check. If you get over an 18, I'll make that hour go 2 hours. So it's like double efficient here.
20,
Ew.
30, 20.
Boom. 2 hours
Nice.
of training. And yeah, okay.
We're
perfect.
putting in hard work over here.
What does anybody else want to do or mention anything prior to saying that you're going to sleep?
I would somewhat like to figure out where John Henry sleeps.
Sure. Roll me an investigation check to see how fast you can deduce this.
6.
6.
Ruh-roh.
So
It's a big house. It's a big house.
the whiskey was good, and
I don't drink a lot.
yeah, you make your way up a little slowly. Like, oh, I missed a step on the way up, and you're kind of going. And hey, maybe that's where he sleeps. And you go to the other cellar door, and you go downstairs there, and you find old dried fruits and some dried meats. And this is more of a food.
Get in my.
storage cell.
I immediately forget what I was trying to find earlier
Okay.
and just start shoving food in my pockets again.
There's also, I should say, there's small pouches of spices, and there's like this is a lot more well stocked than the alcohol storage. Kind of like it's a general store down here, so if you want to say, oh, I want to take X, Y, and Z, I'll kind of say
I'm taking
this.
as much as I can physically carry, and I'm gonna go take it to one of those empty rooms and just create the same room, but for me.
Okay. Sure.
So one of those rooms in the East Wing is now gonna be full of supplies.
Okay, perfect. I will say that you can grab. You know what? We'll get there. If we ever need to say what specifically it is, we'll figure it out at that time. But yeah, you grab a couple of things from the dry goods storage, and you make your way back. Is everybody else, aside from Jinxie, going to sleep? Getting a long rest in?
I'm gonna empty all my goods into my little hoard, and then I'm gonna go back to my room. Joe, check out the window. Tie a rope by the window in case you need me a quick getaway and go to sleep.
Sure. So for reference, just so that like for a rule here, just so we understand what's happening, John has given each of you a room for your own, like a personal use, sleeping, studying, like whatever you want to do in your personal room. And then you have one empty room. So for example, if you were a wizard and you're like, oh, I want to practice spells, I want to get better at this, that can be what your room is for. And you can put some gold into like getting materials and stuff for it or whatever. If you're I don't know, you can I have full creative control given over to you guys for if you have an idea on, oh, I want my room to look like this, message me or, talk to me and we can make sure that that's taken care of.
Sweet.
And it might take some time and some effort into making sure that it's perfect. I'm not just going to say, snap, here's your, level up room, but we can work on it.
I will be hitting the hay as well this evening.
As I say,
Perfect.
Cambrio has settled in.
Jinxie's still frolicking.
He's just blowing a dandelion with his trunk out there somewhere. Yeah.
Yeah.
In the dark, just
Yeah. I don't know where that went.
inhales it.
So many accidental
Hold on.
inhales. Just
Be good.
just poof.
It's just like a stoned Snuffleupagus, like just
Yeah,
dancing in
yeah.
the flowers at
So
night.
Snuffleupagus.
Yeah, yeah. As
Okay,
he should be.
perfect. So you all make your way to bed. You hit the hay, aside from Jinxie, and you get a full 8 hours and a full rest. So everybody but Jinxie can mark down that you have a full rest. Jinxie, if you can please mark 1 level of exhaustion on your sheet.
Already did.
Perfect. Josh, are you aware of how that works?
It's just disadvantage on checks, right?
It's disadvantage on ability checks on level
Yeah.
1 of exhaustion.
On everything, right?
On just ability checks. So, essentially everything but combat
Okay.
and saving
Yeah, sorry,
throws.
that's what I meant. I meant, yeah. In terms
Joe,
of
did you go to
everything.
sleep?
I did go to sleep.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the sun is rising. Everybody can
Or
mark off that
my
full rest.
version of sleep.
Yeah. Stasis.
Yeah. I'm going to
yeah.
stasis mode.
Okay, so the sun is rising. You can smell a wonderful baked good emanating from the kitchen, and the day is yours. What do you guys want to do?
Just gonna look at Zed and ask if he knows if we can get some breakfast around here.
Are you in my room?
Yes.
Okay, so
I'm in his room.
You
Zed
found his
wakes
room.
up. Sees
I opened
Cambrio
every door until I found
in
Zed's room.
his room.
Hey man, do you know where we can get some breakfast?
Yeah, right down where we ate last night. Give me 2 minutes. I can walk down with you.
All right. I'm just gonna go. I'll just be across the hall. I'm just gonna go check out that room and see what's there. I'm just gonna stroll into the room across the hall. Just be like, books, and stroll right back out.
Okay.
I'll have woken up and just headed down to the breakfast area because I assume that's where we're meeting. And then I'll have asked Mildred to get me more of what she put in my tea the other day.
How many levels of
So
exhaustion
So
does Mildred have?
I'll just be sipping that while they're.
Sure. Well,
Yeah.
before that, she looks at you and she goes, "Do I know you?"
Do you know me? How many freaking robots with spikes coming out of their heads do you know? And if you know another one, you must be talking to my reflection.
Who are you? And you can tell that she has not the best memory, but to help her remember, she takes a flask out of her blazer and sips on it. So the flask is now visible.
I'm gonna be like, that is what I'm looking for. More of that.
I got you, sweetie.
Can I have that?
And she hands it over to you.
in like a barrel of it would be swell.
Well, yeah.
So I'm a big robot.
Sure, yeah, sure. And she shuffles out of the kitchen. And in the kitchen, there are freshly baked croissants. And there are, just the, like, there's like tulip bulbs and like rose petals. Like, everything's just so extra in this house. Like, it's just ridiculous. And you do, what's everybody's passive perception?
14.
16.
13.
Jinxie, you can see like over top of Chode's shoulder. If you look out the back window, you can just see this half orc that's like balding. He's got like a George Costanza cut, and he's just like, what? Like just looking around at the weeds in the gardens, like he's got a hoe in his hand. And he's just like, how?
Is there a bunch of glass in the garden?
You wouldn't see that so who knows?
Okay.
Maybe there is.
Don't look under my window.
Jinxie's just kind of like nodding and just be like, yeah, we did good. We did good.
Did good. So John enters the kitchen. Good morning, my friends. I assume we're
Morning,
getting
John
started
Henry.
early today, or
I think that's
He
the
said after breakfast.
way to go about it. Is we get on it and then we figure out how to spend our day.
Well, I wish you the best of luck. I myself am going to be helping my daughter Emily with a few studies today. So if you need me, please holler. But I should be downstairs around 4 or 5 p.m. today. With any luck, that's when you should finish.
Okay.
It's gonna take us all day to clean up a smell.
I said
Thought
with
we
any
were just
luck.
opening a vent or something.
I thought you had some confidence in us here,
I
but
didn't know if you were going window shopping in Beaumont afterwards. I have no plans. Just simple banter, robot friend.
all right.
Cambria
Sorry.
was trying to figure out if that was a hint that he needs to replace the window. She thinks it means literal window shopping. She's just gonna awkwardly slide back out of the room.
Look left, look right. Awkward.
Just look left, look right.
Yeah,
slide back out. Go get the horse.
Yeah, I leave it to you guys.
Is so Zed's gonna look around, kind of gauge whether it looks like everyone's finishing up breakfast. Anyone not doing that? Anyone not at breakfast?
I have actually. Yeah, I'm not. I just left the room, so I'm
Okay.
gone to like the courtyard to get ready. I've got snacks.
Jinxie's taking some melons for the road.
Full whole melons.
Whole melons, and that's like a snack.
All right.
I'll down that like casket of ale and then follow you out, Zed.
Yeah. All right. Well, looks like we got to gather the troops here. We're a little scattered this morning. Not how I usually like to do things, but that's all right. There's Cambrio
What
seems
do you
to be in
mean
the
usually?
courtyard. And in the kitchen we have our Loxodon friend. All right. I'll go gather things. What do you say we all meet out front gates in a couple minutes? 2 minutes, call it.
All right. I'll grab the fur ball.
And I'm just gonna head back up to my room, gather the rest of my things, and head back down to the courtyard.
Yeah, wandering out there.
Be like, come on, fur ball, let's go.
I've
We
been
got
rounding
lots
up
to do
horses,
today.
and then I realized that half the party is enormous and or made of metal, and I'm looking at the two giant things coming up and just looking at like the normal sized horses I've gotten, just like, can you? And I'm trying to figure out if it's appropriate for me to ask the question of if it's okay if an elephant rides a horse, or like does he view this as strange? So again, just kind of like, can you? Will you? Or it's just like I can't stammer out a full sentence because I'm just trying to figure out how to not be racially insensitive about this. But I don't know if you can ride a horse.
Jinxie does ride horses. Oh, yes. We are always very gentle to these fine creatures. And then just like stroking the horse.
You see Cambria scribble something down in a notebook.
But then Jinxie tries to get two horses together and mount them both at once.
He really
straddle
scribbles
both.
something down in the notebook.
Roll me an animal handling check.
Oh, that was almost a 1. 25.
In the
What
back,
what a swing!
in the back of the
Wow.
stable, there is two horses that have been conjoined at birth.
Just a
they're-
mutant horse that's been waiting.
So yeah, it's like leg fused with leg. So it's like the middle leg looks thicker.
It's a horse running like a three-legged race.
Yes, exactly right. Yeah, so you have that, and their base is twice as wide, so you can absolutely fit on this fucking
Okay.
monster.
So they have 6 legs, basically.
They do have
Yeah.
6 legs.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And they also have 2.
And one of them is
2
a
heads.
middle leg, like, yeah.
2 heads. Okay, perfect.
Down to just one fat sausage body.
Yeah,
or-
picture this. You made 2 horses out of plasticine and then just smushed them together. Like that's what it looks like.
Oh, my beautiful creatures, come with me. We will go on this journey together.
Is John Henry out here?
No, he's not.
Oh, okay, I was going to shoot him a questioning
Is-
glance.
Is the orc out back? Like the gardener?
He was in the backyard, so you guys are in the front courtyard.
Okay, so we won't see him. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm gonna wrangle myself up
I don't.
another
I don't need
regular
the
horse.
horse. I can walk.
Okay.
But can you keep up walking?
I don't get tired.
Right, you don't get tired, but do you go fast?
Do I go fast? You're funny, Goldilocks. Of course I go fast.
Okay, let's ride away on the horses then, I guess. Zed, I look over at Zed, who's just are you in a fancy robe again? Or are you in a...
I'm back in my same clothing you would have seen me in yesterday, essentially. It's not fancy by any means. It was once, I guess. It's a little worn.
I more so meant like your like smoking jacket outfit, but you're like not in that one.
No.
Okay.
Listen, guys. Unlikely or uncommon, we wouldn't see him. I just kind of trail off my sentence. I believe John said he wanted to touch base in the morning before we went out. Has anyone seen him?
Yeah,
Where did you see him?
at breakfast.
Yeah.
All right.
He was there, and he said he had to go do something with his daughter.
Going to hang out
about
with
studies.
Emily, who we haven't met yet.
You're right.
Did you see the orc in the back? Balding. Who's balding?
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's that then.
Wouldn't you
we might
say?
as well. We might as well hit the
I
road.
thought we were pretty checked in and we were on the way. I'm just, yeah. I know there's a free course, all right. I get it. It kind of threw me for a loop, too.
And
What is
all
the
right,
horse's
no
things
horse
like
for
sound
you
like
to
when it runs?
show. Got a quick pace to be keeping here.
Don't worry, I got it covered.
Okay, what's
right,
the walking speed of a
Autobots?
horse, a mounted horse there, Mr. DM?
Are we just taking off and leaving him in the dust?
Give me a second. I'm
Yeah.
Googling?
it has a speed of 60 feet per round.
All right. So,
So
we immediately...
Well, no, it's exactly double the Warforged speed. So
Right.
theoretically, if he's dashing the whole time, yeah, he can keep up.
Yep.
now what if
Unless the
we're
horse is also
dashing?
dashing.
Unless you guys pull away, sure. Yeah.
Which is what
Well,
a
give
horse
6
would be
legs.
doing.
Zed-
No, we are moving at. We're cantering because we're trying to like cave to his. Like we're trying to make him feel good about himself, so the horses aren't going as fast as they could, and he's keeping up with him in like a full sprint. And we're just like, yeah, ooh, yeah, I was wrong. You know, look at you go. This was the right play.
Keep on motoring.
Zed's gonna kind of pull out slightly, just not like pulling away from the pack, but I will take the lead as I do know where I'm going for the most part, and I will attempt to lead us there successfully.
Perfect. I am
I'm
going
gonna-
to need a survival check to see how well you can navigate through. It's a low DC.
All right, so I got a 5. From
I've got
look
a-
at the elephant man and be like, if we're looking out for a place that stinks, is your sniffer for finding something like that?
Very good point.
Wills, what did you get before we?
14 plus 2.
Okay. Josh, if you want to also, because this is based on smell, you can roll this normally, because you normally get advantage, but you're at disadvantage because of
I'm at
precaution.
disadvantage, yes. Okay. So, how would you like me to roll smell?
Survival.
Invest survival. Okay.
Although, do you get
Uh,
survival check advantages based on your nose, or is it just investigation?
I do.
Okay.
And I got a
Do you
nat
actually
20.
get
Nat
mechanical
20.
benefits because of your nose? I was just
Hell.
trying to strong arm Bulls into giving you advantage.
No, I do. I thought you knew that.
No.
So I got a nat 20 on the smell.
Woohoo!
Incredible. Everybody who got over a
Smells
10.
Stinky!
Yeah, exactly. So, about 40 minutes into...
Oh! That's not good. Ooh.
About 40 minutes into your journey, you are traveling down the south road. And after a while, something just slaps you in the face right through your nose. Just a putrid rot smell on this road. It's like, whoa, where did that come from? You're all looking around like, well, I guess this is what we're sent here to do. You
tie a
can
little
tell.
kerchief around my nose.
Okay, you can kind of tell that and this is definitely not the right word for it, but like the apex of the smell, like where you want to go into the woods, can be discerned
source.
by a natural 20. Yeah, but you know exactly where. So, Mr. Loxodon, as you take the party, as like your trunk is leading, I assume like a periscope.
Yeah.
It is taking you through the woods, and it's getting a little bit thicker, and there's kind of sparse areas of wood and vines on the ground, and you can see about 300 feet in front of you an opening, and you see like the top of a mine shaft. So you're like, oh, it must be something to do with that. As you enter this kind of 300 foot by 200 foot open area where this mine shaft opens up into, you step onto the grass, and as you do that, like your foot immediately sinks about an inch and a half into the earth, and there's like this oily black mud tar thing that kind of, fills that vacuum, and it's covering your foot. And the rest of you, as you're walking across this field, like your shoes are just sticky.
We're on horseback.
I apologize. Yeah, the horse's feet are kind of sinking in, and it's actually to the point where they don't want to travel here anymore. So there's that. You can roll an animal handling check to try and force the horse across the field, or you can get off at this point. But yes, this black oily substance is absolutely the source of this terrible stench.
15 on the animal handling?
Is that
15? Yeah, you can trudge along the horse.
Okay.
And sorry, this tar stuff goes for like 300 feet?
It's not visible. Like when you walked out of the wood into this kind of open area, you wouldn't know that it was oily and wet and mucky. It looks
It's like
grass.
you ever stepped on grass when like the ground underneath it's super soggy?
Yes,
And you can squelch down under it.
It's like a suck noise, like as you're walking.
But not
through the
like
field.
visible like tar.
Right.
swamp.
Yuck.
And as you turn around and look into your footprints, like the footprints have left like small pools of tar kind of in them.
Okay.
So it's not like overt that like, holy shit, this
Black
place is
gold.
Yeah, exactly. But
Texas tea.
yeah, there's definitely a terrible stench with each step you take further towards the mine shaft.
Okay. I'm just gonna kind of tentatively continue towards the mine shaft and just see if we can't peer down.
You
Or
can
can I
certainly
get
peer
it?
down. Yeah,
Okay.
So as you approach the mouth of this mine shaft, it's not a main entrance. It looks like a small kind of just doorway-sized hole that leads down, and it doesn't go straight down. There is an angle to it where you don't have to belay or grapple or anything. You can certainly walk down into it, but I do need to know officially who has dark vision on the team. Is it just
Do
Wills?
not. I believe
do
it's
not.
just Wills.
Okay. So do the four of you go down the mine shaft? And if so, what is the order that you go down the mine shaft? It
So
is
I'm gonna
wide
look at
enough. Sorry, just for reference, it's wide enough for Zed and Cambria to walk side by side, but not for Jinxie
beckons?
or Chode. Yeah.
So I'm gonna look at Zed, and so I'm just gonna look at him and say, I've got something that I can do. I can't see in there. I'm just gonna pull out a torch, but if we want to just kind of have like a little bit of a link, I think I can help us with that. But you've got to be willing to trust me.
What are you saying exactly?
I can link our minds so if we get separated in there, we could still communicate.
Oh, sure.
Okay. You have to be willing to do it. That's why I have to ask.
Yeah. Sounds fine
Okay.
to me.
Then just
And Scott, I don't think it is, but that's not a concentration spell, right? That's just something that
no,
happens.
it's my ability, but it does
Okay.
say willing.
Yeah,
Then I
that's
just
fine.
roll a d4 for how long it is. I'm concluding Burr as well.
Oh.
All right, for the next 3 hours, Josh gets a cold feeling in the back of his head,
Yeah.
an emptiness.
As Cambria is disconnected from the chat.
Yeah. I just hear like the aux getting unplugged.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm
I'm
going
just gonna be
to
pulling out a torch.
pull out
Huh.
a torch myself. A little snap of the fingers. It lights. A little prestidigitation.
Ooh, suitably
prestidigitation, if you will.
I will.
Uh,
Okay, yeah, so I'm sorry, just still waiting for yes, you're all going down into the mine shaft?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, sorry.
I'll kind of creep ahead if you guys want. That's
yeah, I'll be
usually pretty
maybe
quiet.
like a
So
half
I'll
step off center to Cambrio.
I'll lead my way. Hand on the crossbow, ready to quick draw it.
Sure. So as you walk down this mine shaft, it's probably like 150 feet down. It's not straight down though, so you're underground, but it's not like the depths or the heart of this mine. It opens up into this large room. It stretches for kind of as long as the torchlight carries, and then it kind of fades to black down at the back. And this room is the stinkiest, smelliest, most putrid. I really can't begin to say how assaulted your noses are by this room. In fact, so much so that I need everybody to roll me a Constitution saving throw.
Even with my scarf?
Even with your scarf. However, yes, Chode,
I can't smell.
You do not need to roll on this. I actually made a note of that. Yes.
Yeah.
Can I?
Con save, you said?
18.
Sorry. Everybody start that again and you all start talking at the same time. Scott?
I was just saying con save is what you wanted.
Yes, con save. Wills?
Nat 20.
Will you let me use my prestidigitation to create an odor to combat said?
That's like medieval plague doctors. They would carry flowers around.
Here's what I'll do. This is the rule of cool here. Because technically, this is like a poison gas. But it's a cool suggestion. So roll me an Arcana check. If it's high enough, I'll say that the prestidigitation is strong enough to do that.
Yep.
I'm not 20 to my scarf thing have worked.
No, it's gonna be
peed
a 10.
on it beforehand.
Okay, I need a con save from you then, Wills.
Yeah, that seems fair.
And Jinxie, you said you got a 15?
18.
18, okay.
Oh, that's even worse. 6.
6. Okay, so everybody is good aside from Zed. Zed,
That really
you
backfired.
Take...
Lung cancer.
No, I don't take nothing.
3 poison damage.
20%.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, so you guys are in a dark, scary, smelly room. What do you guys do?
I assume I'm at the back,
Sure.
Jinxie would have followed in after Cambrio, and then I'll follow after him. So I'll yell up. I'll be like, "Hey, what's going on up there? Are we getting close?
I don't.
Did we find a smell?"
It's a smelly room, but do you have a light feature built into you somewhere? It's dark. It's real dark.
I mean, I have a torch, but instead I'll just for my torch, I'll just say I can turn my eyes a bit, and they get the brightness up on my eyes, and that'll be my torch.
Cambrio's just gonna look at him, just kind of fiddle around with his eyes. And just be like, okay, I'm just gonna turn and whip my torch into the darkness.
As you illuminate your eyeballs there, Chode, you would notice ahead of you, Zed is kind of keeled over as the noxious smell is starting to overwhelm as he's taking that damage. Gagging, a little coughing, trying to gather himself to move forward here. And I do. But
you all right over there?
oh, it's disgusting down here.
Did my hurdle?
Did you just said that out loud, Wills?
Yes.
Yeah, I need you to roll a Constitution saving throw as you just breathe in another poisonous fume. So until you succeed, you have to keep doing this.
Wow.
12?
What a fart.
12 is exactly what you needed. Yeah, so you take no more damage, and you can, everybody who succeeded on this con save, you can now kind of muster the stench that's down here. Yeah, so as you're all down here and you're trying to figure out, who can see what and who's where, you hear the rattling of something. It sounds metallic, it sounds clanky, it sounds chittery.
I look at Chode. It's like, is that you?
That wasn't me. You'd know if it was me.
Okay.
Jinxie's gonna take a torch, light it, and start holding it with the trunk.
Okay, sure. Is Jinxie moving forward at all, or?
Yeah.
Sure.
Trying to see what's.
Can you roll me
going
a
on.
stealth check? I assume you're doing this kind of
Yeah. Okay.
slowly.
Sneaky.
Yeah.
16.
Sure, yeah. So with each small, like you're a mammoth, you're huge, but
Yeah.
you're nimble in this area. And as the torchlight expands this room, you can see that there's bones all over this room. There are old, rusted mining material and equipment, and there's daggers. And this room's been the source of something strange. And you take step after step after step, slowly but surely. And greeting you near the back of the room is a large reptilian scaled face with fangs holding
Oh shit.
something like seemingly playing or gnawing at something in the wall behind it. And as you approach it with the light, it turns, hisses at you. I need everybody to roll me initiative next episode.
Oh, motherfucker. I was gonna say, this isn't a mine, it's a tomb.
I just want to say that I quote, highly doubt there is a beast. So next time we see John Henry,
just
no.
we are gonna have some choice words when we.
Hey, how about we try and survive this
elevator
first?
man?
Yeah.
Yeah, who said anything about leaving here?
Yeah, remember, one of us is already pretty much dead.
That's true.
Taking 3
That's
damage.
Thank you for listening. If you enjoyed our podcast, please rate and review 5 stars for the 5 stars of the show. A special thanks to Matthew for designing our map and to Isabel for creating our art. You can find their work on Instagram at Matthews_makings and at Laco Miles, LACOMYLES. Thanks as well to Drew Hewitt and Arcane Anthems for doing our theme and background music. For music you too can use, visit patreon.com/arcaneanthems to add the perfect theme to your home game. You can follow more Eldritch Buds news on